Hi everyone, it's Nandi. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be telling you about living with TMAU. I guess many of you don't have a clue what TMAU is. I myself did not have a clue what it was for a great part of my life, even though I was living with the condition. Now, TMAU is a short for trimethylaminiuria. Trimethylaminiuria. So basically what that is, in some persons there is the inability to process choline. Choline is a part of it's a naturally occurring substance, and it is contained in certain foods like fish, especially ocean fish, shellfish, typically high protein foods like milk, certain meats, beans, eggs, and so on, very high in choline. The body actually does need choline. There are other sources there are other sources of it, some plant sources as well. And in my research I've read that your body can actually make some of the choline, right? So in those persons who are unable to process the choline, such as myself, and I didn't know I had this condition, I just saw the effects of it and was baffled as to what was causing this. So when you're unable to process the choline and trimethylamine, your body stores it, and after a while releases it. So it comes out through your pores, any orifice, your pores, your mouth, your nostrils, any orifice on the body, wherever it can find release, and it causes a particular odor. So in some persons the odor might be rotten egg, it might be of feces, it might be of rotting fish, it might be of garbage. So I guess it depends on the kind of food that was eaten. So like if the person has a particular type that causes fish odor, because TMAU is also called fish odor syndrome. If they eat fish, so it will accumulate, that will accumulate, and then they will smell like rotting fish, right? It doesn't matter if they shower, it doesn't matter. It has nothing really to do with hygiene per se, or wearing deodorant or anything like that. It's just chemicals coming from the skin. Now, when I was little, I would notice this smell, and it's not, for some persons it's a constant smell all the time. For me it was not. For me it was like occasionally, and I didn't know that it had to do with anything that I was eating. I just knew that every once in a while the smell would just erupt, and I didn't know where it was coming from. And I knew that I was bathing regularly like everybody else. I was using deodorant like everybody else, and I would just be there, and you'd have this smell, and then within a minute or so it would go away. So it would just like it rise up and dissipate, and then you're back to normal, smelling fresh like nothing. So it was a mystery to me. And as I grew older it got worse, like when, you know, going through puberty, going to high school, it was so bad. There were times when the entire class would run out of the classroom, leaving me sitting there in the classroom. That's how bad it was. Or I would be in the auditorium and we'd be having mass, or we'd be in the canteen and everybody crowded around, and the smell would just erupt and everybody would dart away from you, and it was very embarrassing. You could be on the bus and it happened, and everybody would be looking at you and think, you know, the thing that people would say, of course, is that you don't take care of your hygiene, you're nasty, you have very poor hygiene, which was not the case. I was very meticulous with my hygiene. And nobody, well, the persons who are close to you can become, is either they don't pick up the smell or they become nose blind to the smell. That happens, right? So you might have persons who you interact with closely or your relatives and they don't have a clue that you have the problem, because they're just, it's like they get used to it or they just don't pick it up at all. It's a phenomenon. I don't know why that happens. You know, becoming nose blind to things is pretty normal, but I don't know why, like, family members just don't seem to pick it up at all, some family members. So I went through high school not knowing what this thing was, and it depressed me sometimes, because it's like I wanted to solve the problem, I couldn't solve the problem. I went to the school clinic, the doctor, every time I went to a clinic or when I went to a doctor, a private doctor, they would look at me strange, like they were saying, what are you talking about? You don't smell, because it wasn't happening while I was there. Because for me, in my case, it wasn't a constant thing. It would flare up, last about a minute, and then go away. So you'd be telling somebody about this problem and they're looking at you like you're crazy. What are you talking about? And in my case, the odor was more like feces, right? So among your friends, they would think like, well, you just, like you farted, because it would smell like somebody just farted and it flare up and then it goes away, and they would accuse you of farting, and you know you didn't, and sometimes it got to the point where you just say, yeah, I did it, I did. And it was very frustrating, very frustrating. I think the reason mine was like that, it had to do with milk, because usually, like I said, depends on the type of food, and I didn't know that my body wasn't processing milk well, so it would just accumulate and then it would come out smelling like rotten milk, right? More along that line. So went to doctors, they didn't have a clue what I was talking about. Searched the internet, still couldn't find anything, until I stumbled upon this video about a little boy who had something called fish odor syndrome. And when I was watching the video, and this was like just a couple years ago, I saw that video, right? And I was watching the video and I'm saying, these symptoms sound like my symptoms, just that they're talking about fish. I don't have mine wasn't fish, right? Mine was more like I said, feces. But it was the same, you know, it would flare up and then go away, and some persons wouldn't know about it because it didn't happen while they were there. And, you know, I was looking at just the whole stressful life this boy was having. His was very bad. And I later came to realize, I think in my case, what saved me was the fact that I became a vegetarian when I was 13. I think that helped to make mine not so bad. And just occasionally it would happen. Like if I had some chocolate or milk or biscuits that had milk in it. It's only later I'm realizing, but I think my diet saved me much of that, because I think most persons who have TMAU, it's a constant thing, and it is not like a flare-up thing. It's constant. They smell that way all the time, and I really do think it's tied to diet. And you know, they eat heavily of meat, because even when they are told that, okay, it's the foods that are very rich in choline and high, very, very high protein foods, they just tell themselves they cannot avoid eating these things. They must have these things. And so the condition persists, right? In my case now, I don't eat meat. I eat fish once in a while, very rarely. Don't really eat a lot of beans. I don't eat eggs unless it's hidden in something. You know, like if I'm eating a piece of cake, the egg and the milk kind of hidden in it. That's the only time I read, but I'm not going to get a glass of milk and drink or fry an egg and eat, right? It's just rarely I have those things. So I think that saved me. But still, you know, every once in a while, because you just cannot completely avoid choline. It's even found in some vegetables and your body actually needs it. For example, in the making of acetylcholine, which is a neurotransmitter, and in other processes in the body, choline is actually needed. So it's not like you can eliminate choline. You would not be healthy if you eliminated choline. But I think that the choline in certain foods respond differently. And the cleaner my diet is, in terms of the closer to my ideal, which is just fruits. I don't have that, when I'm on fruits alone or as close to fruits only, I don't have that issue at all with TMAU. It just does not rear its head at all. So I know very definitively that diet is the main factor, the main contributing factor. But it's just that hardly anybody knows about this condition. You can go to medical doctors and they will send you away as if this is all in your head. And that is what happened to me time and time again. And from coming now and watching other videos, you know, more recently, persons are coming out and telling their experience, and you're actually you can read papers now on it. So it's coming more to the front, but still many doctors still don't know. So I wrote a novel called Ashley Smells Like Garbage about a girl who has TMAU and her experience, which is really mirroring my experience growing up. It's a part of a series of children's books that I'm working on called A Child Like Me. So I look at issues that children face. So in this particular book, Ashley Smells Like Garbage, that is the issue that this girl faces, right? And I did that book to shed light on the condition. And doctors need to be aware of it. Teachers need to be aware of it. Nurses, anyone who come, because these children, they don't know what's happening. They're doing everything that they're told to. They shower, they wear their deodorant, clean clothes, and they're still having this problem and growing up with the problem, and it's very embarrassing. And not everybody is like me. I'm tough. I'm tough. I'm not broken by stuff like that. I get stronger by things like that, but not everybody is like that. So, you know, we need to get the word out there and to let people know what the condition is. I saw a video about a woman who has TMAU, and, you know, she was just sharing her experience, and under it, some comments that people were saying, you know, like, she don't bathe, it's all in her head, and it's because she's white. That kind of comment, because people just don't take it seriously. That this is a real condition. They're gonna say, oh, you're not bathing properly, you're not doing this, you're not doing that, and you might be more meticulous than they are, right? So it limits, when you have TMAU, it can limit your job, the job that you decide to take, because imagine having a problem like that. You would not want to take a job that's going to put you in the middle of people all the time. Now, I'm a teacher. I'm with children all the time, you know, but like I said, for me, it's not so bad because of my diet. Because of I eat mainly fruits, I meditate, I have a healthy lifestyle. And again, I'm a strong person, emotionally, spiritually. So not everybody is like that. So many persons out there need the support, and they need the public to understand what this condition is. And they too need to be open to healthy lifestyle choices in order to greatly reduce the impact of this condition, if not eliminate it. right? So that's an option. You have to be willing to do what it takes. You can't be saying, oh, I want this condition to go away, but I'm not giving up the meat, I'm not giving up the beans, I'm not giving up the milk, I'm not giving up the egg, I'm not giving up the seafood, the shellfish. You want to keep having these things and you know that they are causing it, but you know, you just don't want to give them up. So you need to seriously make that decision. Am I going to live with this condition, knowing what causes it and knowing that I can do something to greatly eliminate it, or make it less, much less? If not, then stop complaining, and you're going to have to lock yourselves away, hide yourselves away, or just be embarrassed anywhere you go, because not everybody knows, at least not as yet, and people are just going to come to one conclusion, that you're a nasty bum. And you might bathe 3 times a day, 4 times a day, right? And change your clothes 4 times a day, and people are just going to say you're a nasty bum because you're not bathing properly, or you smell like shit. So we need to be compassionate and educate ourselves, be open-minded, and also be willing to do what it requires for change, right? If you see where something can make it better, and it means you have to give up something else that you like, make the choice. You know, which one do you prefer? All right, so if you have any questions on TMAU, that big word, trimethylaminiurea. Trimethylaminiurea. You can just type in TMAU if you want to find out some more, or if you want to ask me questions about my experience growing up with this condition, or you can just go ahead and get the book, Ashley Smells Like Garbage. It is totally detailed, and you get narrative with it. So it's a story, right? It's fiction, it's a story, there's a storyline to it, but chock full of details on the condition and resources, places you can contact if you need official information, further information on it. So that's part of my lifestyle, guys. I'm sharing it all with you. You know me, you know I'm real, you know I'm honest. I'll just tell it as it is. My experience is my experience. I'm not ashamed, I'm not nothing. I'm just me. This is Kama. So just let me know in the comments if you have any questions, and I'll certainly answer them. So take care till